Trump celebrates immunity case ruling. Liberal Supreme Court judge says president now a king above the law. Live. Trump ally Steve Bannon turns himself into prison. Steve Bannon has arrived at prison to serve a 4-month sentence for defying multiple subpoenas surrounding the House's January 6 insurrection investigation. Bannon, a longtime ally of Donald Trump, reported to SCI Danbury, the minimum security prison in Connecticut, where he spoke to a gaggle of press and supporters before turning himself in. "I have no regrets and I'm proud of what I did," he said. At the press conference, Bannon, who was joined by the far-right Georgia congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, appeared gleeful. He taunted the media outlets in attendance, urged supporters to take up the fight, and gloated about the Supreme Court's ruling that presidents have absolute immunity for official acts. Bannon lost a last-ditch effort on Friday to avoid prison time after the Supreme Court rejected his request to delay his prison sentence. Federal prosecutors say Bannon believed that he was above the law when he refused a deposition with the January 6 House Select Committee, in addition to refusing to turn over documents on his efforts to subvert the 2020 presidential election results. Bannon has accused the convictions against him of being politically motivated, with his lawyer David Stone saying that the case raises serious constitutional issues that need to be investigated by the court left the bulk of the analysis up to Chutkan. But Chief Justice John Roberts, writing for the majority, found that Trump's threat to fire the then acting attorney general for refusing to open investigations were protected, because the Justice Department is part of the executive branch. Roberts similarly found that Trump's effort to pressure his Vice President Mike Pence was probably protected, as the president discussing responsibilities with the vice president was an instance of official conduct. The opinion said, "The final decision on the Pence question rested with Chutkan," wrote Roberts. The burden was on prosecutors to rebut the presumption of immunity and whether charging Trump would pose any dangers of intrusion on the authority and functions of the executive branch. And on the matter of Trump's remarks on January 6, Roberts wrote that they too were probably protected, since presidential addresses were an integral function of the office. But the opinion also allowed that in Trump's case, it may be more appropriate to categorize his speech as that of a candidate for office. Today's ruling doesn't change the facts, so let's be very clear about what happened on January 6. Donald Trump snapped after he lost the 2020 election and encouraged a mob to overthrow the results of a free and fair election. Trump is already running for president as a convicted felon for the very same reason he sat idly by while the mob violently attacked the Capitol. He thinks he's above the law and is willing to do anything to gain and hold on to power for himself. Steve Bannon has arrived at prison to serve a 4-month sentence for defying multiple subpoenas surrounding the House's January 6 insurrection investigation. Bannon, a longtime ally of Donald Trump, reported to FCI Danbury, the minimum security prison in Connecticut, where he spoke to a gaggle of press and supporters before turning himself in. "I have no regrets and I'm proud of what I did," he said.